episode 95 after frustrating defeat to the Vikings. I don't know if frustrating is a word. Kind of checked out at this point, but it was just humiliating, I guess is a good word. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, you can be bad or you can be boring. You can't be both. And the Chicago Bears are both. They're both bad and boring. I completely, well, one, I was watching Lost. Um, and then I was like, I literally looked at my wife and I was like, oh shit, the game's on. It didn't even cross my mind really to be like, oh my God, the game's on. You know what I'm saying? And then that's how it is every week. I'm just so, focused in on the Bears game. And, I caught it a little bit late. It was already 3-0 at that point after the sack fumble, from the Vikings. Karan Amagaji was just a turnstile all game, penalties and just bad blocking. I think his PFF grade was like 33. It was horrible. Like I said, you can't be bad and boring, and that's exactly what they are. I was completely bored the entire game because I knew nothing was going to happen. Nothing of substance was going to happen in that game. Nothing exciting was going to happen in that game. It's just what do you do? You were talking about it. You've been on the fire Ryan Poles thing, and I've been a defender of Ryan Poles. I can't defend him anymore. I know I've said that for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, you just can't. At this point, you can't. He lucked into that. He lucked into Caleb Williams and everything else that he's done. And I still like the Adunze pick, even though we could have used it on an offensive lineman, but
Or
everything else he's
defensive end.
done
Like
everything else he's done in free agency, draft, stuff like that, it hasn't been right. Like, the first coaching hire wasn't right. I don't trust him to make another coaching decision. I don't trust Kevin Warren to do it either. I've lost faith in this franchise to do the right thing. Um,
we all
and
have.
it's frustrating because, you have the most talented guy at quarterback that you've ever had, ever, 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 and you're blowing it in a big, big way. You are proving every single one of these analysts and everybody who said that Caleb should have pulled an Eli. You're proving them all right. Why would you like? I don't know, Sean. I, I don't know. I mean, this game against Detroit coming up is going to be an absolute ass beating. It's going to be. I think Ben Johnson to prove a point is going to shoot for 50, and with this defense, that's a real possibility. This could be Mark Trestman bad when he let New England and Green Bay score 50 points in back-to-back weeks. It could get that bad this weekend.
Well, it's just because they lost all like lack of sense of urgency. Nobody's playing hard. And like I said, the injuries are killing us, but the injuries are the product of the NFL. Everybody gets injured. That's a part of it. And that's where Ryan Poles has to not waste draft picks on um on third round project tackles, on punters, on it's just like I said, at first it was coming off as bitter because of Justin, but like you were saying in the beginning, it's like you could either be bad or you could be boring. And Justin was a bad passer, but the games weren't boring.
No,
The
no, they
game
weren't.
we were fun to watch. We were gritty. We ran the ball. We were in a lot of the games, even the ones we lost. Of course, the offense usually stagnated um, in the fourth quarter, which obviously sucks too. But it's like these games, literally, I don't know, like 7 games in a row. Like ever since the Jacksonville game, have we scored in the first half? Like it's just inept offense until it's garbage time, and then Caleb puts up adequate numbers and doesn't throw any interceptions, and the people are like, "See, it's not Caleb." It's like he half those yards is when they're in prevent or they're not carrying. I'm not saying all of them. Kid makes some throws, things are happening, but it's not all Thomas Brown. It's not all the coaching staff. Like these guys are football players. These guys have been playing football for 20 years. Some of this shit is the 1, 2, 3 ABC shit. Like I understand intricacies of game planning, but it's a lot of throwing and catching usually. It's not rocket science. It's football, and we all know it. They know it, and I think everyone's just dejected and want to blame everything on the coaching staff and ownership. But
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not all. It's not all them.
you could see very select few players are still playing. I mean, Caleb obviously still playing his ass off. DeAndre Swift seems like he's trying to play his ass off, but the problem with DeAndre Swift trying to play his ass off is that he's, 190 pounds soaking wet. So, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, injuries are piling up, but Tremaine Edmonds, that was just a horrible signing. But how are you 6'5", 250 and can't defend the run as a middle linebacker? How is that possible? Um, why is Tyreek Stevenson still in ball games? Why are we throwing a third round project, guard? He was a guard at Penn in at left tackle to protect your most valued asset in the franchise against the team that is the most aggressive in the NFL. Why are we doing these things? And then it's just every time I think about it, I get sick. I get
Yeah.
sick because it's like you said, it shouldn't be that hard. These guys are checking out. I mean,
Yes, they're definitely totally checked out.
Keenan Allen has had more drops in this one season than I think he's had his entire career combined. DJ Moore just looks completely uninterested in being on a football field right now.
Yes.
It just
Honestly, again,
Roma Dunze had a drop. Like what? It's more than coaching. It's more than coaching. The roster. We heard it all offseason from Ryan Poles. Oh, it's going to be really hard to make this roster. It's going to be really hard to make this roster. It's fucking laughable now. Like, what? What? It's going to be hard to make this roster. Like, if I wasn't stubby and fat, if I was like 6'1", 6'2", I could probably walk onto this roster. Like, I don't.
I like I said before, and again, I like Justin whatever, but I think when they decided to keep Eberflus and then go get Caleb, I think they fucked with the culture of the vibes or whatever you want to call it, because Cole Kmet's not blocking anymore. He's not playing with any energy. He was our gritty, hard, you know what I mean? And he's not even doing that anymore. It's like none of these guys care. Um, and blocking and pass rushing, that's mostly just effort. Yes, obviously you need skill guys and things like that, but it's mostly just sticking your nose in there and doing it. And these guys don't want to, and it's been different coaches, different quarterbacks. Um, and I don't know if Caleb's not rallying the troops good enough. I don't know what it is, but nobody seems to be able to light a fire under these guys. And I'm not a huge fan of always blaming the coaches, but it's coaching, it's culture, it's our captains, it's leadership. Where this leadership council? Where the fuck are they? It's like I think they fired Eberflus, and everyone's like, "All right, season's over. We'll just lay everything at the feet of Eberflus." And
Yeah, they're looking forward to their Cancun
yes,
vacations. You know what I'm saying? They're looking forward to the off
a
season.
lot of these guys aren't going to be wearing Sweat sign, Jalen sign. A lot of these guys are Poles guys that he drafted, and we're
Yeah,
just going to run it back. And this is what I didn't want with the season. With it all going down to, well, he's a rookie quarterback. What do you expect the season to go? It's like we won 7 games last year. I was expecting 8 this year at least, like bare minimum. We're not even going to scrape that. Like honestly, it was like 7 or 8 games. That's our floor. Like what the fuck? He's supposed to be better. And I mean, obviously he's got more arm talent, but you look at the numbers. He's throwing for like 25 yards more a game than Justin Williams, 40. You know what I mean? It's like not like he's
yeah,
putting up
okay, but but
280.
but but let's pump the brakes there for a minute, okay? Because Justin in year three, Caleb's a rookie, and he's already had a much better season with 3 games left as a rookie than Justin Fields has ever had as a pro throwing the
Pass
football.
throwing the football, but
He plays the quarterback position better than Justin Fields does. Justin Fields was flashy and he made a lot of big runs. Justin Fields cannot play the quarterback position. He just can't.
I don't know if that's
It's
true.
proven. It's
That's not. It's
proven.
not proven. He literally just went
What are
four
you
and
talking
two
about? He's sitting on the bench right now in Pittsburgh.
behind the
It's not
Hall of
like he's
Famer.
starting anywhere.
Behind a Hall of Famer. It's not like he's Baker was
A
sitting
Hall of
behind.
Famer that all of us, including you, were saying was done.
Sure, I could be wrong, but Baker Mayfield was sitting behind Sam Darnold.
But look what they're both
Sam
doing.
Darnold was sitting
It's
behind
not like
Josh.
Sam Darnold's trash. Justin Fields cannot play the quarterback position better
Okay.
than any of those guys. None of them.
I
And
don't.
Caleb
But
and Caleb's
again,
included in that.
if you would have asked that like if you would have asked that about Sam Darnold 2 years ago, you would have said he was trying. Like that is. But again, Justin went to a new team, one offseason, new coach, new system, went 4-2. Whatever you want to say, he went 4-2. So how, like it's not he can't play the
And
quarterback.
still can't
He
read a defense.
not
Still
very
can't read a
well.
defense.
I mean, Caleb doesn't read them very well either.
He runs it.
That's
He
but it was
runs
got
the
us 7 wins.
ball.
I'd rather have a running quarterback in 7 wins than a talented passing quarterback in 4. If those are my options,
I'll take Caleb in year 3 over Justin in year 3. I'll
it's
tell
I
you
mean
that.
it's easy to say it now, but what if he's doing the same shit?
I'd still take him.
Like I said, I
Still
mean I
take him.
guess, but I would rather win more games than have somebody who looks the part. I want to win. Like that's what this whole Caleb thing has been. We wanted Mahomes so badly, and like I said, to reset the rebuild, and this is where it got us. But like now, I mean, we all watched him play. What is Caleb? 2 years away? It ain't gonna be next year, right? I think we all can agree Caleb's not gonna be top 10 next year.
I guess it all depends. It really depends on it. Coaching matters a lot in this league. We argue this point all the time. He's got all the physical tools for it. What matters is, can he learn from this rookie season, and can they get the right person in there? Getting the right person in there is going to make a huge difference. You take a look at, Kevin O'Connell, what he's doing with Sam Darnold, what he's probably going to end up doing with Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? The coaches make a difference. Now, if they bring somebody in like I don't know, let's just throw a name out there, right? So say they bring in Mike Vrabel, or they bring in Brian Flores, or whoever the case may be, somebody who's not offensively focused or whatever, and that person hires the wrong offensive coordinator, whoever is going to be in Caleb's ear, this, that, and the other. Um, what I would really like to see possibly is like whoever one of those guys may be. What about bringing back Josh McCown as the offensive coordinator, not the quarterback's coach, because he's the quarterback's coach in Minnesota right now. Um, but somebody like Josh McCown, who's been working with Kevin O'Connell, who's been working with Sam Darnold, and been working with Daniel Jones and stuff, because he also did the same thing in Carolina. He was with Thomas Brown in Carolina a little bit. I think he was the quarterback coach over there too. But coaching is going to be the biggest thing going into next season. That's the number one priority is you got to hire the right guy. This has got to be this right here will be the biggest decision that this franchise has ever had is who's going to coach Caleb Williams going into year 2. They can't fuck it up. If they fuck it up, then it doesn't just set the franchise back 3-4 years. This sets the franchise back like 10 years. They have to get this. They have to get this hire right. If they don't, then we're in for another 10 years of misery.
Oh, again, I agree with you in that sense, but it's like if his success is completely contingent on getting a wonderkin coach, then is he the guy? Like I don't know.
Every quarterback not named Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen needs a coach that's like that. What are you talking about?
I don't think every player needs him. Like
Name one. Name a quarterback besides those two
who
that
does
doesn't need it.
who does Joe Burrow have?
Joe Burrow has Zach Taylor, and Zach Taylor is a pretty damn good play
Okay,
caller and coordinator, offensive coach.
I think they have a really talented team, and it makes it easy to call plays. But I'm just saying, like Joe Burrow doesn't have some fucking wonderkin coach that everybody has
But
to
he
have.
also has Jamar Chase
That's
and
what I'm
T.
saying. Well,
Higgins.
he's got Keenan Allen and
Right.
DJ
So
Moore.
that's not a Joe Burrow thing. That's a roster building thing. That would be a Ryan Poles thing. And coach, so it doesn't just fall on Joe Burrow. There's more things than just a quarterback being a quarterback. It's coaching
What
and the
I'm saying,
roster around him.
yes, but he
That's
was.
what you just said.
But can't he put up Joe Burrow numbers close to
With the
him?
right coaching and the right people around him, anybody could put up Joe Burrow numbers.
I don't think anybody can. No, I think special guys can. Not anybody.
Special guys can make special throws, which
He's
Joe
putting
Burrow
up
does.
MVP numbers. No, not anybody could be an MVP. I don't think is what I'm saying. Like that's above your coach. Like Lamar Jackson's been MVP with 2 different coaches.
No,
He won with Greg Roman, and then he won with whoever he had last year.
those are offensive. Are you talking about offensive coordinators or head coaches?
Well,
What are
I'm
we
just saying the
talking about?
guys calling the plays. I mean, that's what I mean. Guys calling the plays. John Harbaugh's not calling the plays and or coaching Lamar Jackson.
No, well, he's coaching Lamar Jackson, just not calling the plays.
Well, yeah,
John
but he's
Harbaugh's got his hands in everything.
as a head coach, but again, he's not. Like I said, I don't think he's probably not in the quarterback meeting. He's probably not in a lot of the stuff where they're installing stuff. I just think you're special. You're special. Yes, yeah. Obviously, coach is going to help you win games, of course, but he's putting up mediocre numbers. He's just not throwing interceptions, which is not what we got him for in the first place. Like, he's supposed to be flashy, taking chances and doing all that stuff. Like, I don't understand. Now all of a sudden he doesn't want to take chances. Now he's being safe with the ball. Like, he's holding the ball too long. He's just a
Because he
lot.
doesn't trust his offensive line. He doesn't trust his offense.
And he doesn't throw the ball away. Like, there's just a lot of stuff. Like, have you seen him throw the ball away once?
He does no, and that's something he's got to learn to do. I will agree with you 100%, but it's kind of hard to do when you have your all-pro wide receivers dropping passes and having
the Bears are like at the end of the league.
Face.
The Bears are the bottom of the league in drop passes. Like bottom, like I think they have like less than 20 drops
In big moments, on third downs in particular.
Well, it just feels that way because we're watching the games, because we watch the games. You don't know when the drops for the Browns are coming. I'm sure they're on third down too. But like the Bears are like bottom 5 in drops. They've got like 16 or some shit, 17 or something like that.
Again,
they don't have a lot of.
He doesn't trust his offensive line, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Joe Burrow's got a bad offensive line,
and on top of that, when you're taking
Burrow gets battered.
When you look at the all-22 and you're looking at the offensive scheme in general, how many times this season have you seen multiple wide receivers in the same area? It's a scheme problem too, Sean. It's not just fucking.
I do think Williams. Okay, but I'm not saying that those guys got fired. I mean, they've been held.
Not all of them. Thomas Brown is still there.
Well, somebody has to coach.
He literally said, "I was part of the problem too." He's running the same offense. It's the same offense.
Yes,
it's
but what?
Same scheme. It's the same play designs.
Well,
he's just calling plays in different orders.
Well, what are you saying? They were going to do a whole new playbook? It was it was week 12 or 11.
I'm not saying they were going to do that, but you can't put all of it on Caleb.
I'm not putting all of it. There's none of it's getting put on him. They got fired.
You are a little bit.
They got put on them. What I'm saying is I called for their jobs too. They got fired.
See, this is where I don't understand why. Like, I get it, right? You talked about it all off season. You talked about it earlier in the season about this whole generational tag on Caleb, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. The fact of the matter is, he's still a rookie. This is his first year in the league, coming into the league, playing a lot faster. He's got to learn. Did we expect more from him? Yes. But when you take a look at it, he's still God forbid, he's still going to be the best statistical quarterback the Chicago Bears have ever had. Like, where did we talked about tempering expectations for Caleb Williams before the season started? Did we not?
I mean,
we never did. We still expected this 4,000 fucking yard output for a rookie quarterback in a city that's never had it. It's not going to happen just like that. Why are we doing this to ourselves? You know what this is? We've done it to ourselves.
Well, that's not fair because I'm on record. My expectations were 8 or 9 wins
and 4,000 yards. You wanted him to have. You said he was generational, so he should be all worldly year one. No, that's not what happens. I expected the wins too.
Well, no. What I said,
he had a better team around him than what he does, and he doesn't.
That's not. I mean, they just played better last year. Same bad coaches. They got a coach that got fired mid-season, calling plays.
They had. You know what the difference?
The worst running back.
You know what the difference is between this year and last year?
We could run the ball.
Yes, 100%. They went away from the run because you know why?
Because they got Caleb.
They got DeAndre.
No, because they got Caleb and they wanted to showcase him.
No, they stopped the power run. They went to this outside zone scheme, and it doesn't work.
I don't know. That's not. We just passed the ball all game.
We did it last year. Most of our rushing yards came from Justin Fields and drop back passes. They weren't designed runs with a fucking running back.
Well, Justin Fields only had like 700 or 600 rushing yards last year. We're the #1 rushing team. They weren't mostly Justin Fields. It was our
it was
stable of running
backs. RPO and Reed.
Yes, but 600. He only
with Justin Fields.
Caleb's got 500
because he's running for his life.
So is Justin.
But those were mostly designed runs with Justin Fields with the zone scheme. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. They ran an
I'm
outside
not
zone
saying
scheme this
I'm
year
not saying it
with
was the same. What I'm saying is they tried exactly. They stopped running the RPO scheme because they were trying to showcase what Caleb could do and what
they
these
didn't
new guys
know
could do.
that's not even they changed the entire running scheme because of the personnel that they had at the
We
running back position. They
we
don't
had
have a
what do you mean? We
closer.
had Roshan and Khalil Herbert when the season started.
Yes,
Two
and they
those
went
both of
away
those guys were two of the
and
three
they
from
went
last year.
away from it. You're not listening.
I
They
know.
went
I'm
away
no.
from
I
it.
am agreeing with. We're agreeing why they went. Like you're saying they went away from it to showcase DeAndre Swift. I'm saying they went away from it to showcase Caleb, and
But they didn't
Caleb's
is what I'm
dropped
saying
back more
because
than Justin did
the
all last
running
year, right?
scheme, the entire running scheme is different. It's not an inside zone scheme in between the tackles like it was with Roshan and Khalil. They got DeAndre Swift who can't run between the tackles, and they've moved to an outside zone scheme that's based more on one cut and up because he's shifty, and it hasn't worked.
But we've also passed more as well,
Do we though?
substantially. I'm pretty sure
Do we
substantially.
though?
I would have to go and look in it, but I'm pretty sure Caleb's got way more attempts than Justin had last year.
I I don't want to say way more. How many times has Caleb thrown more than 30 times this year? Twice?
I don't know. I
I,
think
I
more.
I'm I don't want to be too argumentative here, but I don't think the numbers are all that skewed in favor of Caleb Williams in terms of pass attempts. I really don't.
So you think
And
you
a
think that
lot of it too is that the Bears haven't had the ball all that much offensively because they're fucking three and out. Three and out, three and out, three and out, punt. That whole Caleb Williams texted me when I got drafted and said, "Oh, I'm not going to be on the field very much. I'm not going to punt the ball." Makes you it makes Caleb look fucking stupid. Dude, this is what a bad Bears team does to lifelong friends, guys. Okay,
well, just like I said, I don't think I had crazy. I was with the generational stuff. I was saying like that was I was going to live up to, but realistically, I said I just wanted to be better than we were last year, and we're not,
that's what we all wanted. Dude,
and we're not,
it's
and
frustrating. I want to pull.
everyone wants to blame coaching and all this stuff. That's fine, but
It's not
all the Bears coaching had all the Bears quarterbacks had bad coaching and bad O line. They didn't get a pass. All of them.
Caleb is not excused for the failures of this season. I'm not saying Caleb gets no blame. I messaged you during the game and I said, how many times is he going to miss wide open throws? Wide open. I don't know if it's the internal clock going off in his head, if he's just got happy feet in the pocket back there. I don't know what it is, but it's got to change because this whole thing, I'm literally just I can't watch a game without it being so critical. I can't enjoy a game anymore, if that makes any sense. Like whenever I watch a game now, I can't enjoy it. Even if something good happens, I don't get off the couch and celebrate like I was earlier in the season because I know in the
Season's
back of my
over.
head that what is there to cheer for? There's nothing to cheer for. I mean, it's uh,
It's frustrating. And like I said, we did a rebuild. And my number one concern, and we had me on record, was like this was a restart of the rebuild. And they were saying it wasn't because Caleb's floor was yada yada. But just watching this season, let's be realistic and say we don't hit a home run with the coach and he's the best offensive play caller ever. Caleb's what, 2 seasons away? We're looking year 3, year 4. He's a fucking top 10 quarterback. Like what was the fun? Like Poles gonna be fired by then if he not if Caleb's not him next year. Poles is fired
I don't know if Poles makes it to this
out of this
offseason.
season, and it's like
I don't.
that's what I was afraid of. Again, yes, I could wholeheartedly admit that Caleb Williams is a better pocket passer than Justin Fields, but for whatever reason, the team was playing hard around him. We played a Chicago style type of football. And I think that it would have been more effective to just build on that and try and make a super team and then to restart. And that we were basically assured that it wasn't a restart, that it was plugging Caleb into an already winning situation that no first round pick had ever come into. And he was going to pick up where Justin left off and be better. Like I think that was a fair assessment. If you thought Caleb was that good, I don't even think that's unrealistic. But they fucked that up, and then we go watch the guy we shipped away. Sure, he hasn't been amazing at quarterback, but if you just like how our team has played outside these last few weeks where the defense is just giving up and getting scored on left and right. We could have won games with Justin Fields. He's okay if you hold the team under 20 points. He could get you 20-ish. Like, not he wasn't turning the ball over, and like you said, it was fun. Like, he was running around, big plays. We score in the first quarter sometimes. Like, we don't have 0 points at every halftime and playing catch ups. Like, I don't even know if Caleb's good because realistically, a large portion of his games, we were coming out and he's in 2 minute drill mode. You know what I mean? We're down 2 scores, 3 scores in the second half, and they're kind of just they're backed off a little bit, and he's coming out and he's really feeling it. Like what game? I guess the Jacksonville game, it was him putting on a clinic, but every other game, it's been a shit show until the third quarter, and then him or the coaching staff or whatever you want to say finally get comfortable, and he makes a few plays, but he's like again, like so I
It's
see the
been
arm
bad
talent,
all around.
yes, and he's coming back, and it's like so I'm like I don't want to be critical because again we're stuck with him anyway. Not to I mean the kid can play, but I went on this tangent about it wasn't the quarterback. We need an O line. And it's not just as easy to snap your fingers and make an O line. You got to spend premium draft picks on these guys. And we had a good chance. We could have did that last year. I mean, it didn't have, like I said, again, they said, like, I saw a comment, the guy's like, well, I'm always harping on Roma Dunze. It's like, because we didn't need him. Like, we did not need Roma Dunze. And I think he will be good. And luckily, we will have him in a couple years. And maybe, hopefully, we fix the O line and we will have a number one receiver for the future. But I just feel like it's easier to find a receiver than it is, or it's easier to do receiver by committee if you've got a good quarterback and O line than vice versa.
Yeah,
And
and really when you fast forward and you look towards the draft, there's not really anybody that stands out to me in terms of that tack
for a
position.
tackle, no,
There's not a Joe Alt in this
no.
draft. You know what I'm saying? I think the consensus number one tackle so far is Will Campbell out of LSU, and he's a big boy. You know what I'm saying? But
A lot
I
of people
mean,
have concern that he might be a guard.
yeah, because you know what is he 6'3"? I think he's
He's,
on the
I
shorter
think he
side for a
might. I think he's
tackle.
got short arms. I don't know if he's short. I know he's got short arms. I'm not sure how tall he is.
But again, it's one of those things where it's like there's no clear cut number one tackle. You know, like I said, there's no Joe Walt in this draft, and that's a little concerning because now what do you do? Do you spend the money in free agency? Who are the
And
free
there's
agent
nobody to
tackles out
get.
there?
There's
You
nobody to
know
get free
that like
agency.
there's
Lyman,
some
like
guards, there's some interior offensive linemen that you can get free agency, but in terms of franchise left tackles don't just go to free agency. They don't. They you spend three first round picks, you know, trading for him like Miami did with Laramie Tunsil, or you draft them at number 5 overall like the Chargers did with Joe Alt. Like those are your options when it
and
comes
they
to
got what
franchise
Matt
tackle.
Slater the 2 year before that, 2 years before that in the top 10, I think, or like 12.
Yeah, so
Um,
it's very difficult to find those guys. Very
and
difficult to
and
find
we
those guys.
missed out. I guess Darnell Wright, he's okay. He had a good rookie year. He's been lackluster this year, but he's been okay. He's a starting right tackle in the league. I can't hurt like guys get beat. Even some of the best guys get cooked sometimes. Um,
Unless
but
you're Panay Sewell. Holy
yeah, but
shit.
he's a dog. But it's like who are we gonna get next year? Like there's nobody to get next year, so it's like we're gonna have a average at best O line next year. There's no way we're gonna go from what we got to elite. None of our guys are really elite. There's no elite guys to get, so we're gonna have a middle of the pack if we're lucky O line next year. Young quarterback who just got a new play caller and a head coach. Possibly if we don't resign Keenan Allen, another wide receiver or two, probably another tight end or two, maybe another running back. Like it's gonna be another rookie season for him. Like and then we'll also have a rookie head coach. So the for more than likely everyone's gonna be like, oh well, it's his first year as a head coach. What's he supposed to do? And like we're in this fucking cycle again. Like and that's what I didn't want. Like I said, I harped on it, and we'll kind of get towards the end on it. If you were gonna fucking get rid of Justin Fields, you should have got rid of Eberflus and did it all together. I think you created a vibe when you keep Eberflus, you get rid of Justin Fields because then you're saying Justin was the problem and Eberflus was fine when everyone was there. So they probably knew that it wasn't all, you know, I mean, obviously I'm sure these guys, they're football players, so they could be critical of Justin, but they knew it was probably Eberflus too. Like, and Justin, like Caleb, put us in position to win a lot of games as well last year. They just went a little differently. Like we choked in the end, we gave them too many points. We could have easily won 9 or 10 games last year. So it's like that's what's disheartening. We were fun to watch last year. We played a lot of tight games and we just completely fallen apart. Thomas Brown isn't the answer. I know we wanted to be optimistic and give him a chance, but he's not going to be a part of this organization next year. None of the
No.
coaches are. But a lot of the team, I think, is a lot of them are younger guys that Poles drafted. If he doesn't get fired, they're all going to stay. And like I said, maybe we luck into a tackle in the draft if somebody's there. Maybe we get a free agency guard, but it's looked like we're running it back next year. And what is there to be optimistic about? Like we have to hope that we get the next Kyle Shanahan or freaking. It's like hope
That's the
that's what
thing is
Ben
that
Johnson is
so
like.
yeah, so that's realistically right. So say because it's either Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson, at least in my opinion. You got to have one of those two guys. Mike Vrabel's going to change the culture. Ben Johnson's the offensive guru, right? So
I
your
think
hope
Mike
with
Vrabel will
Ben,
bring Josh McDaniels with him.
well, your hope with Ben Johnson is that he is Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur,
Yes,
Sean McVay, Kyle. That's your hope, and the entire NFC North is all first time head coaches. I know I touched on this last week, right? The entire NFC North is first time head coaches. And Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, first time head coach. Sean McVay, Los Angeles, first time head coach. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys, that's been the norm, a lot lately is that you don't have a lot of guys like Andy Reid in the league right now where they go to a second team and they're successful. Josh McDaniels was a really, really bad head coach. He is a really good offensive coordinator.
and you
So
don't
if
have to worry
Vrabel,
about him leaving. Nobody wants him.
if Vrabel does come along and brings Josh McDaniels, then I'm not going to be mad about it, and I'm sure Caleb wouldn't be mad about it either because Caleb also looks up to Tom Brady, and who did
Yes,
Tom Brady spend most of his years with? You know
yes,
what I'm saying?
yes.
Well, so those are your two guys, Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson. Those are the
Well, it
only
leaked
two.
out today that Vrabel's like locked in for the Jets job or some shit. I hear.
Well, here's the thing. I really don't think Ryan Poles makes it after the season. From what I understand, and this is just a whole bunch of information that I've gathered from insiders on, X and everything else like that. This, of course, is like Dan Wiederer and, all these guys is that Kevin Warren. There's like an assistant GM or somebody like that in Detroit right now that Kevin Warren has a relationship with from their time together in St. Louis. Ben Johnson has already been on record pretty much, saying one, he really does want the Bears job. And the number one reason why he wants the Bears job is because of Caleb Williams. Adam Schefter has reported that Ben Johnson wants the Bears job, but he wants continuity in that front office. He wants those timelines to match up. So if Ryan Poles goes, Ben Johnson's already got that connection with this assistant GM or whoever it is in Detroit, along with Kevin Warren because I don't want Brian Flores. Brian Flores, I think is going to make a great head coach. I really do. But again, you said Mike Vrabel was going to bring Josh McDaniels with him to the offensive coordinator side. I don't know who Brian Flores would bring, and I don't know if he would necessarily be focused. And I'm still a little sour on how he took the whole Tua thing because you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that was young when he was younger. It was his first job, this, that, and the other. He was hard on him, whatever the case may be. We don't know how that's going to work out in his next gig, but he didn't do well with Tua. Um, so I don't want Brian Flores. I want his. I mean, if I could have him as a defensive coordinator, I'd love that. I want to have that aggressive defense. But if you can't have Mike Vrabel, you got to have Ben Johnson. You have to start doing something to where, like I sent you that link where it was like the Indianapolis Colts were gonna fire Matt Eberflus as their defensive coordinator. They were gonna fire Matt Eberflus, and the Bears swooped in and saved the day for Indy and hired him as their head coach. We can't do that again. Like they have to get this right. They have to. I don't know who it's going to
I'm
be.
not confident they are, and that is what has soured me on this whole Caleb thing because if he's not him and he can't overcome these things, then he's not him and he can't overcome them, and we're in the same situation just with a guy who gets more passing yards. Like, and again, like I said, we've seen the song and dance, and it feels like in 2 or 3 years it's going to be the same thing. The Caleb guys are going to be the Justin ones, and we're going to be kicking him out. And you know what I mean? It's going to be whoever the next Bryce Underwood from Michigan is going to be getting drafted, and we're going to
Arch
want
Manning.
him. Like,
Arch Manning.
no, Archman is coming out next year, though, right? What is he?
He's a freshman. So and he's a true freshman.
Is
So
he a
yeah,
red? No, no, he's not a true freshman. He's a redshirt freshman because he was
no,
in.
he's a
No,
true freshman.
he played last year. Archie Manning.
I don't think did he?
Yes.
I don't
He
remember him
might have been
playing
a
a lot.
red shirt. I think he only played in a couple. Let's see. Yeah, he star. What does that mean? Bowl
So
status.
he
He
come out
only
at
played in the bowl game in 2003, so he redshirted. So he is a freshman still, redshirt freshman this year. So he'll be a
so
sophomore next year, junior. I don't. And in this day and
so
age,
two
unless you're
years.
going to be the number one overall pick, shit, and or like a top five pick, you might as well stay because Archie Manning's probably getting $10 million a year. Eight.
Oh
I think
yeah, what
he
in
was
that
number.
NIL money?
Yeah, when he was a freshman, only Bronny made more money than him. I think Bronny had like 12 mil or something, and he was getting like 11 mil. They had like the highest NIL deals.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is that, college football, like you said, you might as well stay if you're not going to be a top five pick as a quarterback because you
You
have
make more
that
money,
NIL money. It's like it's seriously, it's like free agency.
and you're a
Uh,
rock star, and you're more like it won't. It'll be easier. Like
Speaking of which,
again,
well, I want your thoughts on this because we had talked about it a little bit in terms of head coaching. But what do you think about Bill Belichick going to UNC?
I can't believe we skip past this. What frustrates me is he said that nobody seemed interested. Why the Bears aren't kicking the tires and getting it
I
out
don't
to
know why they didn't talk to him.
just send him
At least
exactly.
talk to
Just
him.
say, hey, Bill, can you don't make any decisions till after the season's over? Like just don't like exactly like I don't. This is like not to say that I 100% want to Bill Belichick. What I'm saying is like this just shows you that the Bears are unserious. Like you got to
How
be
do
borderline breaking the rules if you want to win,
how do you not ask one top three coach, top
or
two
pick it.
coach, best coach of all time, however you have Bill Belichick, how do you not go pick his brain? At
Exactly.
least
You have him for the interview. Hey, what would you do with Caleb? Hey, what would you do? What would you like? Even if you have no intention of hiring him, at least get him in for an interview, and then that puts pressure on other guys. Ben Johnson may not be so picky if he really wants the job. And you talk to Bill Belichick, you might be like, fuck it. Maybe I'll stop being so picky. You know what I mean? Stop playing so hard to get. There's other people who are going to get this job. Like they're not good at their jobs, and that's why like this is basic shit that we see. It's like he goes to UNC, and I'm thinking, oh, probably good. I mean, it's fine for him. He gonna make his money if he's good. I think it's a win-win. If he's terrible, he just goes back to the NFL, breaks a record. If he's good, he's like a fucking legend. So it's like win-win for him. But it's like the Bears. Why are you not reaching out? Can we put your feelers out and say, hey, Bill? You know what I mean? Tentatively agree to the UNC thing, but can you wait till after the bowl games? Let's talk after New Year's once the season ends. We just want to see what's going on. We'll get you in the building. And like you said, pick his brain. At least ask him, hey, what do you think about Caleb? What would you do with Caleb? What do you think our next, what would you do? Like, I just don't understand how they can't get this right. The Eberflus, when Eberflus was hired, what was it? Kevin O'Connell was
yes,
it's like,
yes, it was Kevin
we,
O'Connell.
we didn't even
And
interview.
that same
We
year,
just,
Ryan Poles was going to go to Minnesota to interview for their job. George McCaskey didn't let him out the building without signing a contract, and the Minnesota GM got hired that same year.
And it's like we had a rookie quarterback. It's like this is like,
Yep.
and we're doing it all over again. And it's like now I'm at an impasse where like I know, like you said, you're right. We kind of want to get a play call and connect with Caleb, but I want to win next year. Like I don't want like I'm tired of the rebuild. I'm done with this rebuild. I don't want another like now we're gonna rookie head coach. Caleb's on his first. I just like if we get a defensive head coach, we'll have a good defense. Caleb, let's say takes even if he takes a small step. He again as much as I've been harping on him and he's been a little lackluster. He's a game man. Like he's not turning the ball over. If we can get somebody who can design up some decent plays where we can get some offense in the first half, we could be a 500 team, a fringe playoff team with even with his mediocre play. We like I said, we saw with Justin. He was a below average quarterback, above average runner, equaled out to a mediocre quarterback and a threat on offense where he wasn't giving you four. He was giving you 38 total yards.
You had
And
to scheme for Justin
yes,
Fields.
and we can make it work. Like if we could get fourth and ones, we could score on the goal line. Like we have no identity. Like what did we get stuffed on fourth and one three times in that fucking game? Or one was a penalty. But it's like, what the fuck? Like we can't get 1 yard. Why like Caleb's a mobile guy. He can take a hit. Why are we not run this is like I understand, I know you don't want to get him hurt, but like you design up a play where he runs and just slides for 1 yard. Like it's a QB sweep and he falls down after he gets yard. Like this is just bullshit that we always get the short end of the stick. Like not only our coaches suck, the fucking assistants they hire suck. We can't even luck into getting a fucking wonderkin assistant that gets thrust into the role is good. Like like nobody on the staff knows what the fuck they're doing from the top all the way to the bottom, and it's rubbing off on our players. And it's like I always had reservations about Caleb, and it's like now it's like, is he a bust? Is it the fucking Chicago Bears? Like, and not to say he's a bust. I don't want to say he's a bust. I know I'm harping on him, but he has very decent stats for a rookie. I'm more than decent stats for a rookie. And we're on an 8-game losing streak. He hasn't thrown an interception, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but it is a thing. He hasn't thrown interceptions, which it's not. I guess shows that he's not super causing us to lose games. I mean, he's missing throws here and there, but I do think he should be a little more aggressive. What's he so fucking worried about throwing an interception for? The season's over.
Exactly. The season's
Like,
over.
yeah,
Just
like
let
it's
it
been
rip,
over.
dude.
Like, again, it's like he's overthrowing these balls. I think he's worried about throwing an interception. It's like, I don't know. Chicago's a lot of pressure. He knew it was before. It was a lot of pressure on Justin. It was a lot of pressure on Jay Cutler, Rex Grossman, everybody. It's tough. It happens in New York. It's the same way. Those guys have all folded. Luckily, they had Eli for a stretch where who could handle it. But it's a lot, and you saw his body language that's been coming out. Like I don't like it because he's the quarterback of our team, but I understand watching the game. I can understand why he's exasperated and he's going to the bench and he got bad body language. He's getting his ass kicked. But on the other hand, that's what you signed up for. Like that's what it is. You got to go out there and kind of take it on the chin and act like it isn't phasing you, or it's just gonna compile. Like it's what happened with Jay Cutler. I was a Jay Cutler defender too because I knew he actually cared. But it's like you're a sore loser. I'm a sore loser too. I don't really get bad body language like that, but I'm not the quarterback out there getting my fucking head knocked around. So um, I would say that. And like I said, I don't know. I'm tired of the losing. I don't want to lose next
Yeah.
year. And it seems like unless we literally hit it out of the park with the coach and Ben Johnson is the guy, we're probably going to be losing next year. I personally I think Vrabel is our best bet to turn it around and at least be competitive next year. I think Ben Johnson has a higher upside for our franchise in general. In general as well, but I see us getting Ben Johnson next year. Then like who's going to be his defensive coordinator? You know what I mean? That's our defense going to suck. We're see out with the Lions. Like they got to
Well,
score
you
50
gotta
points.
hope if you hire Ben Johnson, you gotta hope he's Kevin O'Connell and not Nathaniel Hackett.
Yes. Or
So
Adam Gase or Matt Nagy. Like there's a
yeah.
few of these guys. So it's not that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not trying to shit on Ben Johnson. It's just like what is it 60-40 best that he's good? You can't realistically say it's better than 60-40 that he's going to be a guy like that he's going to be Matt LaFleur or he's going to be Kevin O'Connell. It's just as likely he's Matt Nagy and he's just a good offensive coordinator. Maybe that's just his role. I don't know. But I think Vrabel's just shown that like you give him a shitty roster and he can make it work. He can do the best. He's going to get the most out of what you've given him. And maybe Caleb won't be explosive, and we might not have a 4,300-yard passer who throws for 30 touchdowns in the MVP. But
Well, I don't know how many 4,000 yard seasons did Ryan Tannehill have under Mike Vrabel, and I
I
think
don't
we
know.
all can agree that we at least think that Caleb Williams is at a higher trajectory in terms of career arc than Ryan Tannehill is. But I'm pretty sure Tannehill threw for over 4,000 yards with Mike Vrabel.
I mean, if
I'm
it did, that's impressive. And I don't know. I don't follow the Titans. I know Vrabel's a culture guy. I know guys who've been coached by him, and I've seen the Titans rosters. I'm not saying they're all bums, but they got nobody. They got like one or two super gifted guys that would
Well,
for
they had
sure
Derrick
start.
Henry and AJ Brown,
Yes,
and that's a good
then
start.
they had Jeffrey Simmons. But what I'm saying is like they only had
And
like
Taylor Lewan.
couple. Taylor Wan, as much as I love him, is like middle of the pack. He was good for a little while, but again, Taylor Wan's my guy. I just saying like he was okay. Like he wasn't ever an elite left tackle. Maybe for like one or two seasons, but that and I want the Bears to be back. We grew up at a time where yeah, the Bears were middle of the pack. Every now and then we have a nice playoff team, but they were fun to watch. Our team go out there and lay it all on the fucking line. Like very rarely in our lifetimes was the season over week 11 or 10. Like maybe realistically we weren't going to the Super Bowl, but at least like hey, shit, these games matter. And this last half a
3
decade,
years, dude. It's been oh god, it's been so bad.
it's like we don't like it's a joke. And well, I mean, we hated the losing with Justin. Like I said, at least it was fun. He was breaking Mike Vick's record. The team, and it was like the team was garbage, so it was like we could kind of get behind it. Where it's like, what is he supposed to do? And with Caleb, it's kind of like that with the blocking and the coaching. But again, we still got good players. Like we have a playoff roster, at least a fringe playoff roster, at least looking at the other teams. And it's like the Lions, injury after injury after injury, they still find a way to win. The good teams, injuries, they find a way to win. It's like the Bills got injuries. Everybody, like, the Eagles had injuries. Everybody's got fucking injuries. So I don't want to hear that excuse. The bad coaching, yeah, sure. I mean, but at some point you're not gonna have a great coach, a healthy team, an elite quarterback. Like, does everything fucking have to go right? Do we
In
have to have?
Chicago, apparently it
That's what
does.
I'm saying. Do all the stars have to fucking align? Like, can't like I just and again, it's like when we go back to temper expectations. What I've been beating is like we tried to skip a step. We're like, oh, we're gonna build this roster and insert baby Patrick Mahomes, and we're gonna be a contender. And it's like I was like, can we just make the playoffs? Like we were all like, again, like I said, Justin isn't Caleb. But like we're at least on trajectory. Is like we should have been in the playoffs this year. Like if we kept going on the pace we were in, we win 9, 10 games. And then we lose to the fucking Lions in the first round of the playoffs because Justin can't pass. Like, but again, I think it would have been at least fun and entertaining. As much as the double doink hurt, that season was great. Like it
Yep.
was a great season. It's like, and we lost to the Packers twice that year, and it was still a fun season. We had good games where Aaron Rodgers just ripped our heart out. Now it's just like we had the block punt, yeah, and the Hail Mary, but besides that, it's just like we just get our shit pushed in. Like by and not even by really good teams. Injured
No.
49ers team. The fucking Pats bullied on us. The fucking Redskins, I guess the Redskins are a playoff team, but again, they got a rookie quarterback and a lackluster roster. I guess it's like coaching. I don't know what it is. I mean, we think they got a bad, at least a mediocre coach, and they're figuring it out. Like, uh, but it's just going to be rant after rant, week after week for what is it? What's the draft? We got 3, 4 months of the draft.
April.
April just ran after. I don't know. Again, we'll see. We're going to be hoping and praying that they get it right.
It's
And
going to
they
be the
pick.
draft and WrestleMania season, all in
Yeah.
like 2 week stretch. It's going to be insane.
Lonzo Ball came back. It was good news. He's been looking good too. He actually looked better than I thought. They're playing him little minutes. I think they're trying to stir up some trade bait, maybe.
Yeah, the Cubs traded for Kyle Tucker. Congratulations to the
And then
Chicago
traded away
Cubs.
Bellinger, right? They
Yeah,
traded away
they traded
Bellinger.
away Cody Bellinger today. Hopefully, they can sign Kyle Tucker to an extension. If they do, I mean, expect it to be north of 300 million. That's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much
I didn't realize
that.
how good Kyle Tucker was. I saw a graphic with his numbers right next to Juan Soto's. They were like
Yeah,
identical.
yeah.
They're
So expect
like
that,
batting wise, at
because
least.
that's what he's going to be commanding in the open market. So you got to sign him to an extension. The White Sox still suck.
Well, they traded
They're
Crochet right for a bunch of
Yeah, they
prospects.
traded Crochet. Yeah, but you know what? It's the Chris Sale trade all over again. Look how that worked out for us.
We had a
Um,
good year.
yeah,
We had a nice
it's
year
they're
with all
so
the
bad.
yeah.
The city of Chicago sports right now is in shambles.
Yes. Like I
Um,
said, the Bulls aren't tanking right. I'm talking about how good Lonzo's playing. They can't tank right.
yep, the
They're gonna be
Blackhawks.
a fringe playoff team and be out of the
Connor
lottery.
Bedard is not what we expected him to be yet. It's
Yeah.
taking a little bit of time. The Blackhawks aren't there. The Bulls aren't there. The White Sox definitely aren't there. The Cubs missed the playoffs. The Bears. How are you the third biggest market and have all shit teams? It's so embarrassing, dude. It's so bad. Hopefully we're not talking about this 5 years down the road. Hopefully we have a bigger channel to
Really,
more
there's like no
people
problem.
we can
Like you
talk
say it
about.
like that, like I guess Bedard, I guess we hope he's good, but the Bulls, like unless they get in the lottery and get Cooper Flag, like they got nothing to be excited about. The Bears, like we kind of got Caleb, but that's really contingent on this next coach quarterback thing.
Yeah,
We're gonna do some. I think we're gonna do something crazy like hire. I don't know. I don't know. We didn't talk much. I like Joel Brady, but maybe next week we'll talk more about coaches who've already been going
yeah.
long
Well,
enough.
you know what? That's what we'll start doing every week from now on, since the season's over. One time a week, every week, you and I will coordinate. We'll talk about one potential head
Head
coaching
coach.
candidate that we like. We'll break down the positives and the negatives of that, and then we'll start going from there, because there's a lot of potential head coaches out there that especially offensive guys that are on playoff teams that are going to be coaching in the playoffs. So this will be an opportunity to kind of see them at length as well,
Yeah.
especially leading up into the playoffs, because here we are, 3 games, 3 weeks left in the regular season, and the Bears are not in it. But we will possibly see the future head coach of the Chicago Bears coaching in the postseason. So
All right, and I missed the beginning. And if you're still watching now, hopefully not a lot of people make it to the end. But like, follow, subscribe, please, and we'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you next
Adios.
week.